There is nothing better on a cold day than hot soup. This hearty turnip green soup is not only delicious and nutritious, but will satisfy any appetite. Turnip green soup is the most popular post that I have ever put on my blog, and I thought I would share it with you in video form. First, you will need a pound of navy beans. I like to add green onions, a couple of large carrots or 4 small ones, some stalks of celery, and a bell pepper. You will also need some sausages. Beef sausage is what I have always used. This is a large package from Costco. You really only need about half of this. So just put them in the freezer and use them for something else if you get something that big. You can use a carton of vegetable stock or beef broth, either one that is best for you. Some Cajun seasonings, garlic, you can use minced, fresh, or powder, a little salt, pepper, and of course turnip greens. I prefer the turnip greens with the chopped turnips in them, but I couldn't find them, so I bought a bag of just the plain chopped turnips. And what I do, you can also use fresh turnip greens, but it will add to your prep time. Your beans will need to soak for 12 to 24 hours. If you are like me and have very hard water, you will need to use filtered water to soak your beans. Otherwise, they'll be hard and crunchy, and that's not good in the soup. Originally, the recipe, which came from the Birmingham News back in the years or the days when we had printed newspapers delivered to our door, it called for a large can of canned beans and a large can of turnip greens, but I like to use all natural when possible. The sausage I have here is nitrate free and MSG free. I have a low sodium diet, and I'm very sensitive to MSG and nitrates, so I always look for sausages or any type of food prep that I do. I make sure I use ingredients that have no MSG and no nitrates. And of course, you're going to need some sort of a slow cooking pot to go with this. Now I take my sausages out and I cut them in half, and as I said, this is a large package and I only needed half of them. But after I cut them in half, I will put them in a large skillet. I love iron skillet cooking, and if you follow me on my blog, almost everything is cooked in an iron skillet. But you want to fry these up, and here you're going to hear the sizzle. I just had to include it. You will need to turn them a few times, and when they get good and brown, you can take them out. Now, you don't always have to pre-cook them, but I do try to follow a low-fat diet, and in doing so, I have found that pre-cooking this and letting them drain on paper towels really helps. As they cook up, just pat them dry or pat some of the oil off. They will still have plenty of fat in there, don't you worry. While your beef sausages are cooking, go ahead and finish chopping up your vegetables. Get them ready and off to the side, and then you can start assembling all of your ingredients. Now we are ready to assemble our ingredients into the large pot. You first want to put all of the beans into a sieve, drain the water out and rinse them off, then just dump them in the pot, followed by your stock. It can be beef stock or vegetable stock, and use the whole carton. That is some really delicious goodness in there. After you do that, then begin to add your chopped vegetables, and look at all that color. It is going to be beautiful and full of nutrition. Turnip greens are one of the power greens, and you add all these vegetables with it. Just think of all the nutrition that you're feeding your family. Add a tablespoon of the Cajun spices. You want about a half a teaspoon of black cracked pepper, and I just eyeball it, but it measures out to be about a half of a teaspoon. You can add more to taste if you like. Had to back up the camera there, it was a little too close. When you are through with the pepper, go ahead and put in a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. You can add a little more. I like more garlic. I probably use more like a teaspoon, or you can use a half a teaspoon of minced garlic, or about 4 garlic cloves crushed or sliced, however you like to do it. If you shred it, then you probably need to back off on the garlic, make it about 2 cloves. Seems like shredded garlic is much spicier than the powdered garlic or sliced garlic. Now add your turnip greens. If there is a lot of condensation on your turnip greens, rinse them off in a sieve first. If there's not, and there's not on here, just leave it as it is. I also like to pour water in my bag in order to get any residue out of the bag, and just pour it into the pot with the rest of the vegetables. Now turnip greens, kale, mustard, whatever greens you're using that you're cooking, are just not very good without some salt. And I have a low sodium diet. I use the pink salt because it has less sodium than white salt or other types of salt. But as you can see here, I'm putting a good bit. Turned out it was a little bit too much for me. I had forgotten about the salt that is in the sausage, but everyone else loved it just like it was. Now that your beef sausages have cooled, go ahead and chop them up and get them ready to add to the pot. These sausages just really add to the flavor. I bought mesquite flavored sausages, and it was really good with this dish. You can prepare all of the ingredients the night before and then just assemble them. Turn on your crock pot and leave for work. When you get home, you have a complete dinner ready. This recipe does make a large amount, so you can have food for days, feed a large crowd. You need to add some water to your pot, and as you see here, I put too much, so I'm having to ladle a little bit out. And now it is ready to go. Cover and cook. I cook it on low for about 10 hours and adjust my time according to the temperature that I set it for. And before I cover it up, I go ahead and I give it a good stir and get all of those ingredients mixed up. In fact, since I cooked this for several hours overnight and then the next morning I continued to stir it and get it while it was cooking. This is great to feed a crowd. Oh, wonderful for the holidays if you're expecting out-of-town guests and they don't want turkey at every meal. Turkey sausage would be good with this as well. If you make this dish, please comment below and let me know how you like it. And post a picture if you like. I would love to see it. Here it is almost ready, and I love all the color that the vegetables add. Here you can see that the soup is almost ready. It really makes a large batch. You can store this in 1-quart glass jars and put them in the refrigerator. They will keep up to a week. And you do want to sample the beans to make sure that they are nice and tender. When those beans are nice and tender, it is ready to serve. By the way, if you like this video and would like to see more like it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And if you want to be notified of the next video that comes up or in future videos as they come up, be sure to hit the notifications button. And YouTube will let you know that I have posted a new video. Now look at that. I can smell it through the monitor as I watch. This is so good, so hearty, healthy, and satisfying. Serve it with a wedge of cornbread and you will need nothing else. Sometimes people go back for a second bowl, but very rarely. It is that hearty. The condiments I serve with it are pepper sauce, black pepper, salt, and Tabasco sauce. If you make this recipe, please post a photo down below and let me know in the comments section how you liked it. Turnip green soup. It is one of those little things in life. Good and good for you. Thanks for watching.